Welcome to Yarnchix podcast number 40. My name is Mimi and I podcast from my sofa in Berlin, and I have 3 children, so the Magic 3 Mal, which I'm currently hosting, which is all knitting and toy making and sewing and all sorts of crafts dedicated to make 3 items in sets, is basically kind of like a double reference of the Magic 3 children that I am lucky to be a mama for. I have also got the linomukakal, which is a linen yarn knit-along for lino muka, which is a linen yarn from Vallet, Berlin, sort of the in-house yarn of my day job, which is a shop assistant in a yarn store. Basically 2 yarn stores, but my main job is at Vallet, Berlin, and I recently started working at Vallet, which is in West Berlin. So East and West. Vallet, Berlin is in Friedrichshain and Vallet is in Charlottenburg, I think. Oh god, I can't even know the exact district, so Sarah can tell me off, my new colleague. And I podcast from Berlin and I chat a lot about my makes and about our community of makers. This time I've got the special honor to draw some winners for the giveaway, which was sponsored by Cinthia Vallet, who is a toy maker and designer. She designed Myrtil Bear, that was her first design, and she has since designed Winston Leon, that I've currently got on my needles and I'll show you in a minute, as well as Bunny Odile, and today is the 22nd of May and she will be releasing her Mary Moley and Didi Moley, her mole patterns, and I'm very excited about that. She has been so generous to donate 3 of her patterns, so 1 each of the bear, the lion and the bunny, and as soon as the kind of opening sequence visual of this podcast is over, I will draw a winner. So you don't have to wait long, but I would appreciate if you hang around. This little opener always tries to tell like a visual story of what's coming, and I hope it gives you time to maybe settle back, grab a favorite drink, and you're knitting or crafting, or maybe you just want to sit and watch. That would be lovely. So have a little breather opener and then I'll draw a winner. So you would have now seen all the kind of glimpses of what's to come. There will be a knit reportage at the very end. I don't know if you spotted some dye pot activity. I'm very excited to experiment dyeing with linen yarn for linomukakal as a little prize, because there will be halfway mark prizes that will draw on the 30th of May. and then we've got until the 1st of July, so there's a little bit longer for the knit along, all dedicated to linomukakal. And I'm very excited to dye some of the natural colored yarns and share the knit reportage with you for that. And you would have seen all the kind of makes on the needles and happening. For now, Myrtil is going to help me draw a winner. We had 18 eligible comments in the kind of down bar or comment section of the last podcast episode. I just kind of thought it would be nice to make it a podcast giveaway. I know it's a bit specific and not everybody has an account on YouTube and those kind of things, which I kind of only realized after I'd said, this is how we'll do it this time. But do not fret, there will be more giveaways and little treats along the way of the Magic 3 Make-Along. This was just kind of a podcast related launch day Magic 3 mile giveaway. And I'm so excited. So Myrtil will help mix it up. And we had some really lovely comments about ideas for sets, and some were involving the patterns by Cinthia as well. So I'm very excited to draw some of the winners, and I will communicate with you or dedicate, like choose a pattern for you with Cinthia or something, and then you will get a PDF pattern of her knitted toy. This is the first of 3 of the winners. Isabella Torriero, congratulations! So one of the PDF patterns will come your way, either Myrtil, Winston or Odile. The second pattern, Holly Brannigan, you will receive a bear, a lion or a rabbit or bunny pattern. And last but not least, Josie Warfield. So that is the 3 winners. Isabella, Josie and Holly. You will all receive one from Cynthia's lovely knitting patterns, and I can't wait to see what you make. Maybe you commented with one of her pattern names, so then I'll kind of try and align that. If you haven't got the pattern, that I will also double check, so that it's not like you're getting a pattern you already have. So thank you so much, Cinthia, for sponsoring the launch day giveaway, and congratulations to Isabella, Holly and Josie. I'm so happy to be able to give away a little treat for the launch and to dive right in with our make-along. I am excited because also I finished something on the weekend. I pushed through the end bit of the Myrtil and Friends remote knit along that Cinthia herself was hosting, and I only managed to finally knit a sweater for Myrtle Bear. I used a pattern from the Winston Leon kind of brochure of patterns because I thought the fisherman's rib would work so well for this polar bear. I think he looks like a little sailor in it. And I also managed to finish the little socks for this chappy. So that was 2 things. I didn't really push through with Winston himself, but I'm going to take my time in our knit along now. So I was super chuffed to see the update for the Myrtle Bear pattern had these Myrtle's favourite socks. I guess a bit of a winking citation of Emily's favourite socks. And I used the Los Dios del Muertes colorway by Phileas yarn. Sylvie is a dyer, and I wanted to show you. So these are the Myrtle socks. And these are the my-sized Kia socks, and I basically echoed the colours and the design. I love my Kia socks, and they really have been a blessing. In the phase where we were self-isolating and we were meant to stay home, just before kind of the first week finished, which was a bit, you know, a bit topsy-turvy, getting used to a new routine with the kids and everything. I managed to finish them, so it was still quite cold, so I was wearing them quite a lot. And towards now the end, where actually I'm back at work part-time, because obviously I'm still the main carer for the children and we have to get through quite a lot of schoolwork during the week. I cannot work every day, and I'm still in a kind of government supported situation at work with reduced hours. But just as this change was happening, I knitted these mini socks, and I thought that was kind of like a nice little bridge to help me with this new normal, new different routine. And I know that it is a huge privilege that our government is actually supporting us and making this possible. And still a lot of time is spent, you know, getting the kids to sit down and work and haggling, and we're managing quite well. And luckily we've got the little garden patch, which has also helped. And I mean, it is a strange time for everyone and all around the world. And so, you know, one thing is a blessing is that we're healthy and the kids are well and they get along, and we have a safe home. So what I was working on or recently was kind of thinking about all the things that are where it is actually askew in this pandemic. So I'm processing ways of maybe gathering a bit of a fund towards projects that I saw as really important or have been supported in the community. So I'm working away on a little collaboration. I'm working again out how to gather a little bit of fund to donate. It will involve something being made, and it will involve the earnings, all 100% of the kind of pure earnings, because material will go in and it will be sewn and will be sent and it will be sent off, so all that cost deducted, the rest will all be donated to a good cause. All of this I will, I guess, talk about in episode 41, because it's just coming together slowly but surely, and I'm very excited to collaborate with a really lovely friend of mine. So you watch this space. And it kind of shows, you know, Mama and Mini. It's an important kind of perspective for me, and the joy that I have in making small things basically is why Magic 3 Mal happened in the first place. We're in the 4th year running, and in the make-along we make a top, some bottoms and a toy, and create like a set as a flat lay, climb onto a chair on top of the sofa and take a picture downwards. All this is also to protect our kids' identities and not like post on the World Wide Web pictures of them wearing the clothes. It was just something that I decided it would be great to just have the flat lays in the end, and we see the kind of 3 creations. You can be super creative in how you interpret these 3 kind of categories, like a toy, a bottom and a top. Please double check and look through the hashtag, because there's so much inspiration by now. Like 3 full years of makes and this kind of relatively fresh 3 weeks of us making along. There's plenty of inspiration, but you're free to design your set as you please. All I want you to kind of share with us is maybe let us talk about the process, let us talk about how we are using from stash or mending, and yeah, keep in touch. It would be lovely. There is a Ravelry group where we have a thread. There is definitely Instagram with the hashtags. That's mainly what I'm referring to, the hashtag magic3, the number mal will show you and guide you around some of the past and some of the future makes. Okay, what else is there to say? I hope I've said everything. At at the end, we always have one overall winner. So if you were a maker and you're joining in, but you also have like a yarn dyeing business, you're an indie dyer, or you create bags, or you, I don't know, if you have like a little business, you want to give us a little voucher, you design stuff, you want to give us a PDF, then please contribute and sponsor our big basket of goods. We have a tote by Weekdays from Scratch, which is a friend all the way from Kelowna, I think that's how you pronounce it, in Canada. And Sharilyn is kind maker, and she was also part of year number 1, so we've been kind of connected through this make along for a long time now, and she's donating a big tote, so all the prices will go in there, and anything a maker will enjoy, like a book. I always contribute some of my zines and other writing, and you know, it's kind of a collection of goodies that goes out, and it is drawn from the flat lays, so I will calculate how many entries we've had, and it'll be like an Excel sheet of who is which number of which entry, and then it's a random number generator kind of decides who is the overall winner. And then we have price categories for all the different subcategories, so a top, a bottom, and a toy. And I always assign, or no, I get help from friends in the making community. So maybe I'll ask Cinthia if she doesn't mind me asking her to help me choose a winner for the toy category, and maybe Fran will help me choose a winner for the bottoms category, who is Fran, who's one-hearted and whose podcast I really love, and yeah, advise you to go and visit, because she chats a lot about her makes and plans for the Magic 3 Mile, and she's been uploading I think every week in this month. She's taking a bit of a break, preparing a shop update and knitting, and yeah, a well-deserved little breakaway from screens. But still, you can catch up on her recent podcast episodes, which all refer to our Magic 3 Make-Along, just to have another chatter or perspective on the Make-Along, I guess. I will ask her to help me choose someone, because it's really difficult, and from year 1 onwards I've had help with kind of jurorship, because there is not a best make. There's only one that kind of makes a certain maker go, yeah, I want to send you a little price. And I've had a delivery of, and will film an unboxing at the very end of this podcast for one of the makes categories. So the toy category, I've decided will get something that my friend Anja, who is Knitting Sharky, I'll put her handle down here, has sewn and is giving us towards the make-along. And that's what I try, like for each of the categories, to collect maybe dedicated special items. And for one part of the make-along, which is brand new, which is the Magic 3 Mending Mountain, because I want mending to count towards our makes just as much as creating from new yarns or recycling yarns would count as a mend, I guess. And for this, I will be knitting a Isaura cape, because I had so much fun knitting this one for my daughter. I think I finished 3 years ago or 2 years ago. Maybe I knitted it as part of the Magic 3 Mile back then. I guess 3 years ago, in year number 2. And this pattern is by Rosa Pomar, who kindly let me publish it in zine issue number 3, called Nest, of the Yarnchix zine. So I decided that I will knit it again, because I still promised her a German translation, and I don't know, I'm a bit late with it. But I thought if I knit it again, it'll be easy for me to translate it, and I will have a nice price that could be, because I can wear this one and I love it. my daughters. So this one is knitted from Rosa Pomar Kilcara tweed, and then there is a recycled denim yarn, which is I think a Rowan recycled yarn, and BC yarn Bio Balance, like this kind of the main color or the edge here. I don't know if you can see this kind of raspberry pink is the Bio Balance, which I bought at Warren Berlin years and years ago. And the tweeds I then ended up buying during my first visit to Rosa Pomar in Lisbon. And then I ran out and I had to order more. And it's that kind of a cape and a big lovely story. And I decided I wanted to use stashed yarn for this to be a price towards our Magic 3 make along. Last year I made some toys. I made 2 toys that I sent off, a Pinglewind from my own plant dyed yarn, and I made a rainbow chameleon. So this year I thought I'll just make one biggish make as the extra price for the Magic 3 Mending Mountain category of our make along. And I hope you're just as excited as I am about our dedicated stash busting, jeans knees and sock hole mending part of the make along. You can also upcycle adult garments, and I showed a book that I was given by Lisa, who is Erica Eccles. I think 2 years ago during the Magic 3 make along, she sent me this amazing book, which is making adult clothes into kids clothes, like recycling the fabric, and it holds loads of advice about it. I chatted about it in the last podcast, just as an idea. Or hand-me-downs for Big Brother or the neighbor's kids, you know, if they need little bits of mending before you can put that garment back into circulation, that would count. Even if it's just stitching the little bit of the collar, honestly, all kinds of mending will count. Anything that brings clothes back into circulation. And I have a load of those. That's why I came up with this whole Mending Mountain calling hashtag, and it is really calling me. Adult men's as much as kids men's. So I'm just plodding away, and I will keep sharing some of those men's here. Was that it for Magic 3? I did say that all the teddies will get garments for me, so you will see some mini Magic 3. This maybe with the socks and the top will call for another toy or something added to the set for Myrtil Bear. Oh yeah, there is also a sweet bear friend you can meet in France, I think podcast number 4, so not the last one, but the second to last. So 2 episodes back from her Woolen Hearted podcast, you can see one of the bears she's made for our make along. Yeah, so that is all the kind of enticing join us, you might win a treat part for the Magic 3 make along. I could show you this in a little bit of a close-up filming as well, which could wrap up the Magic 3 making chatter before I go on to the linomukakal. I'm going to try and film a close-up panning across this. promised that kind of a close-up already in the last podcast, I think, and never managed. In that, you would have seen a drawing planning out the Parachutey from Linomukakal for my daughter, and I'm double dipping, so this is not just Linomukakal, this is also Magic 3 Make Along. You can tell I finished the front of her linen top and it's got all the colours in it. In this part I'm actually striping, or I striped the lavender colour with this, the Japanese sunset colorway, and these two are actually colors that I'm besotted with these colors, and I was kind of using this a bit as my swatch for a top that I casting on for myself. I wanted to cast it on and show you today. I still haven't, but I'll show you reasons why I still haven't in a little bit. But I'm so excited. I'm gonna knit myself the Argyle top in exactly these colors. And yeah, finished the front of her Parachutey. Parachutey is a pattern by Stephen West from 2014, so it kind of backdates in his amazing and vast collection of crazy good patterns. Especially like the Penguono Parachutey, that part of his, and actually the later patterns as well, are all so good for stash busting and using up bits and bobs, which is exactly why I decided to use these kind of linen scrap or end bits that I've had flying around, or that I'm lucky to source from Bollen where I work. We have like a box of little end bits and leftovers from skeining, and I just love it. I have recently cast on for the back, which I've decided to use lighter colors, a bit like in the original photos. The back is striped horizontally, whereas the front is vertical, and I've decided to do really slim stripes in a mainly light back using the natural color, natural undyed, and this off-white. It's kind of like a cream color. And I had to fiddle with the size because obviously it's an adult size pattern, which I'm shrinking, but I think I've worked it out. If this will be the back, I think these would be the points where the front and the back will be sewn together, I think, because it kind of will show itself during the process. So I cast on less stitches for the back, as I had kind of done less increases on the front and shorter part here. You can really play with this pattern. It's really easily adjusted. Apart from the back, you have to do a little bit of guesstimation of how many stitches you will want. So I've got a second back already cast on where I actually just thought, oh, I'll just knit small size, but it's obviously too wide. So I guess Mimi sized Parachutey will follow. Also, you might be able to tell, I could wear this as like a really nice little tight-fitting summer sleeveless top. I think I'm gonna see, because with my children I never know if once I've finished if they will actually enjoy and wear what I've knitted or created. So I'm kind of keeping that door semi-open, that potentially, okay, then I'll wear it. So I'm hoping that this is what I'm achieving. It'll be very different to a normal grown-up Parachutey because it will be fitted, but it will be fun, and I would enjoy wearing this. So I'm excited. I've basically been focusing on this and just knitting on this most of the time, and it's so much fun. There is one other knit project that I'm knitting on, and I'm finishing the socks that I'm currently knitting or creating on my needles, but to be honest, the last 10 days I've mainly knitted on that. I was like, so like, ooh, rainbow stripe, oh, another stripe. And it's just so playful with the colors. And it will be a really fun little set with a pair of shorts that I want to sew from Josie. I recently, or let's say 2 years ago, I scored an overlock in a second-hand, from a second-hand kind of eBay find. I never really used it. So I'm gonna try and teach myself that, but I'm giving myself lots of room in the make-along until I approach that. I've got some jersey fabrics that I bought that are kind of end bits from my local fabric store, so I don't think it will be a costly mistake if I don't get it right. So I'm gonna try and play. I've been sewing lots of other things, as potentially most of us have been, and I bought fabric to carry on doing so. These, what am I referring to? Face masks, yes. I've been sewing face masks because obviously sewing face masks for children, you have to shrink the patterns, and I made them these state the labels face masks. I will get them in a minute. Actually, I'll get them now. So for myself and my husband and my eldest son, who is 14 and he can obviously wear already an adult size mask, I used the pattern. It's a free PDF pattern from State the Label, which is a US clothing brand which does amazing work. And actually they're selling these masks in little care packages and donating funds towards like a charitable company or NGO who works around the corner for them. So it's a really good brand with really good vision, and yeah, a very cool company to follow along and to be grateful for, because they came up with this pattern and shared it, and I used it for us adults. I was sewing with the linen fabric that we sell at Vallet, and then I used an old apron, which is also like kind of a linen kitchen apron, or cotton linen, I guess. And these are not reversible, but they have like a pocket. So you use two fabrics, they have a pocket that you could potentially put a filter in, and when you put them on, they kind of cover the nose. So my son, who's got glasses, it's actually good because they don't steam up just as quickly, because the fabric goes down here. So yeah, he can wear this. And in order to make them fit my children, I simply, well, the two younger ones, I simply printed it out at as was, or at 80%, I think. And I folded over and just sealed up the bit where you would usually put in the fabric filter, because I realized that like this you can just use it as it's printed out, and use that kind of excess fabric that's used to kind of fold over next to the inlay. Well, I don't know, this might sound a bit weird how I'm trying to explain it, but anyway, it's fully reversible in this way, and I kind of like that. My middle son wears this one, and my youngest wanted a bit more pattern, and I just let them choose. This was actually an old shirt, and this was an old apron. So again, a linen fabric for the inside. It's really good, and they're really like use hardly any fabric, are quick to make, and luckily I still had elastic, because in Berlin for a while it was really difficult to get these kind of household elastics. Luckily I had bought 2 of them like last winter and found them in my vast amount of material boxes, which is chaos. Like right where the camera is not looking, I've got just chaos like piled on the floor. I actually bought like a shelving system to make a better kind of storage situation, and actually label the boxes and stuff, and thought, yeah, lockdown, I'll get that done. I'm like, when and what time and in what dreamland did I think that I would get all this stuff done? Because they need looking after, and I also need to breathe in between. But anyway, these are the kids' masks that I made, and one. So I made loads. I made some for my family, for my kids. They all have one, and I've decided to make more of them. And you might have seen a minute ago I flashed this fabric already. A friend of mine from Berlin, who is an illustrator and a mama friend, basically one of my fellow school mama friends, Anja, she came up with these spoonflower designs. She has worked for Spoonflower in the past, and she has Spoonflower accounts. So I ordered these fat quarters with her designs on them. Let me hold them up. And then, so these are basically 6 future face masks. And another 6 future face masks. And because Spoonflower had a bit of a difficulty in delivering, and her and I met up for a kind of social distance bike ride, she actually gave me these already pre-cut, because she obviously had them sent out to her sooner, and then a week after she gave me them, my fat quarters finally did arrive. So now I've got lots of these animal print fabric, not really square, rectangle shapes, ready to make face masks, and I will make them like the scrunchy type of face mask. I think they'd be so much fun. I'm especially looking forward to this piggy face mask. And that is one that I'm looking forward to, as well as this tongue sticking out one. So I'll be sewing all of these, and then my kids will have spares, and maybe I'll have some spare for prizes for the Magic 3 Make-Along or for the linomukakal. But I'm very excited to make these small items, because somehow the mask sewing it kind of unlocked my sewing machine fear. I have now borrowed the sewing machine from my neighbor for a little while longer, and I'm cutting out linen fabrics for t-shirts for myself, and I'm potentially even sewing t-shirts for the kids, but all that is future sound. All I wanted to say to wrap up this kind of crossover Magic 3 linomuka is that I'm super happy that, even though it was a strange occasion to have to get back onto the sewing machine, but this kind of producing masks and doing it for, I think I did 2 weekends in a row, relatively stupendous and simple sewing, but it kind of undid my fearfulness of the sewing machine, and long may it last. I do hope that I am gonna be able to sew a little bit more for the make-along. I have so much linen fabric because I now work at Vallet, and so I've treated myself to a really nice bright red, and a long time ago I already bought this rosé pink, and I want to make really simple t-shirts for myself to have this summer as kind of like a linen shop outfit to kind of promote our fabrics, and I'm excited to get going. I've already cut out the kind of like calico version, because I'm gonna sew what are they called again? I think it's called Twirl or Twirl. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's kind of like a muslin version of the thing that you plan to sew, and then you can carry on wearing it if it turned out right, if it fits you. So I've cut out that for the Maya top, and I will sew it in these 2 colors for myself, and potentially I can wear whatever I've already cut out. So I'm excited about that. And the masks, release the beast and freed up my sewing block, and I'm hoping to show you more next time, considering all this sewing. Before I show you my other linomuka knitting project, so I've just kind of inserted a long bit sewing bit, and now I'm going into linomuka before closing with socks and toy knitting. I wanted to show you what I have ready for my dye pots. I have a whole cone of natural undyed linen. And as part of the linomukakal this year, I've decided to mark like the halfway point, or the kind of, you know, at some point in our knit along, I thought I'll host a little giveaway for a little price, and I'm gonna use all the hashtag pictures. I'm gonna count how many there are on the day that I will decide, and then I will draw a random winner out of our long list of linomuka 2020 knit along tops and things that are happening at the moment. And then one person will get a sweater quantity of plant dyed natural linen that I will be dyeing. And that is kind of like a little advertising for my knit reportage that I'm adding to the end of this podcast. There's always like a special visual knit reportage. Sometimes it's festival stuff, sometimes it's making stuff. So this time it will be like dye pot stuff, and I'm very excited to play with linen, so natural plant fiber in the dye pots. And I won't more than, I'm gonna just go for it and see. I've got a dye pot with onion skin awaiting and a dye pot with avocado awaiting, so I'm using kitchen waste this time. I'm super excited and I hope it's gonna be a pretty result. If all else fails, I'm only gonna dye half the cone. If you don't like the color and you win this little halfway linomuka prize, you will get the natural undyed from me. I promise you'll get to choose if you want onion dye, avocado dye, or leftover natural, because I think there is 500, maybe 600 grams on here. And I decided to kind of give you enough for a little tank top, t-shirt. Let's see, you will be able to tell me how much you need for your size. And I've got this big cone, so I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm so excited. So, I hope you've been busy. What have you been up to with the linen? Have you been knitting like crazy? I've seen some people have already finished one top, they're starting another. Some people have finished 2 or 3 tops. I finished my linomuka God, I've gone blank. Ranunculus, which was the showcasing pattern. I'm considering whether I'm gonna make a full-length sleeve version holding linomuka double with 1 strand of silk mohair, but in autumn. In this knit along now, as I've said, I want to do the argyle top, and I've got to empty some needles in order to do this. So I'm finishing some of my long-term whips, and I will show you that next time. Once I've finished it, I'll show you it as a finished object, and then I'll show you the argyle top, which is a pom-pom pattern cast on next episode. I am super inspired by my friend Yvonne, who already finished hers in the golden brown version, and it's so pretty. It has a little tie at the front. It's just super cool, and I'm excited to knit it with this, mainly also because I want to wear it underneath this other linomuka project that I have. This is the Solasta sweater. It's designed by Amalia Sieber, again published in Pom Pom magazine. So this was Pom Pom magazine 32, art directed by Ocean Rose, and I absolutely love. So I've shown it before, so I'm not going to show the actual, I'll just show you the project. I'm about halfway down the body, maybe a little bit further, and then I will have to split front and back because it's kind of like a front and back are at different lengths, and they have got like a split hem. Sits on the natural waist, so around about here for me where this top finishes, and then it has these really nice ballooning sleeves which I can't wait to crack into. And I'm using linomuka in the ribbing, is kind of a folded over ribbing, and it will have the same on the sleeves and front and back. And then this kind of painterly effect, which I love. Amalia is amazing. She dreamt up something so cool and painterly. All that is linomukakal, and I'm using kind of lengths between this and this. I'm variating at different lengths. I'm using different lengths, and I'm holding it double. The inside currently looks like this. I will do something to it. I don't know yet. I'll report back. But yeah, super excited. This is the back and the front. There's actually short row shaping, so it kind of sits nicely. And now it's a sea of stockinette, which, oh God, I longed for a bit of stockinette recently. This weekend I have taken this out to the garden quite a lot, and as I had to knit quite a distance of just stockinette without any painterly effect, it was just really good to sit in a quiet garden in the evening and knit, even if it's just a centimetre of stockinette. It helps rest up in these kind of times of change again. Isolation for me had been like, time had slowed down immensely in April, and the kind of task of schooling the kids and making sure everyone hands everything in on time, and kind of the worry for my husband, who had to carry on working and then got sick, and then the worry about, you know, finances, potentially losing jobs. I don't know, it was just like a kind of rough roller coaster ride. And then May, suddenly time slowed down. Like, it hasn't slowed down for me in a long time. Like, kids, I feel, had meant that my time had sped up over the past few years. I'm like, where did these babies go? Why are there no toddlers anymore? Suddenly they're school kids. Like, I'm like rushing through life at the moment, and this pandemic had definitely changed my perception of time. And then suddenly we had this whole thing of, yeah, okay, we're going back, you know, shops are reopening, and I work in a shop, so I have to, like, you know, assess how this will work. And then I was like, oh yeah, the school's coming back. And then information was actually, school back means 3 hours a week, like not a day, like 3 hours a week. And usually we have daycare for the kids with school, you know, anything between 8-9 hours, you know, they can stay. They don't have to when I can pick them up early when I do not work on those days. They don't have to stay that long. But life completely changed, and for them definitely this isolation and lockdown is longer lasting than for the shops, because obviously there's an economic reason why shops are reopening. I'm so glad that both my bosses are really great and accepting of this kind of motherhood side note to their staff member, because I'm obviously not available as are others with older kids or with no kids. So all this to say, I'm still adjusting to work and life and pandemic balance. I don't know how you're doing and what your levels of anxiety are, where you are in this world, or what you know, what the exact result of or effect of this has been on you. And I hope that you find moments of stockinette for you, whatever your stockinette knitting is. Whatever your calm is, I hope you find it, or you have it. But Okay, exactly 1 round of Solasta sweater knitting. I wonder if I've kept that in. I just needed that because I was going again, as I do with my podcast. Yeah, and now Solasta sweater, I've already told you, Amalia Sieber designed it and I absolutely love it. Amalia Sieber is Kindred Red. Maybe what I haven't said is that I'm using Angora 2, a really affordable mohair, wool and acrylic blend. 50% mohair, 30% acrylic, 20% wool. Angora 2 because it comes from the Angora mohair goat. I don't think it has anything to do with the Angora rabbits. I wouldn't use it if it did, and it's super affordable. €7 a skein. Around €6.95 and a really affordable yarn, and maybe I've used half, so you know the 2 skeins will be enough for this sweater. I'm so grateful for this joyous little linomukakal project I have. It lives in this bag by Seaworthy Knots. Kelly, she designs them. She's currently based, or I guess forever more based, in Australia, but she used to live locally here in Berlin, and I absolutely love my bag. So another bridge, I guess, Sea of Stockinette was my sock knitting project, and themed bridge because I'm knitting these as the dedicated project towards quarantinesockalong by Elena, who is Spinoodler, and I've got 1 sock finished, and I'm just about starting or reaching the point where I'm gonna do this color work toe, and then kind of change colors through color work and then a different colored toe. The pattern is the Midnightdancer sock by Sari Nordlund, and the yarn I used here for the leg is Ocean by the Sea's Twirl base in the sage colorway, so I decided to let the sage leaf inspire and reaching into the branch with the toes. Kind of sage leaf inspired socks. I still haven't started my idea of duplicate stitches for areas that I walk through on my hand knitted socks, and as kind of like a design feature of kind of the branch and the sage leaf meeting, but I will do. I think I'm going to just finish the sock as I'm just almost there. This knit along has been so much fun. I was actually knitting along with my friend Louisa and Lika, who had both joined, so that was nice. And it's just my one sock, which I'm currently knitting, and it helped me again realizing I needed a Sea of Stockinette. Started when I got here. We had a bit of a bad news and my dog needed an operation, and so the stockinette of the sock, which is just like quick rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds of knit stitch, helped me because I had to wait for her during her operation, then I had to wait for the lab results and they came back as not good, so she has got well, she did have a cancerous growth in her cheek, so that needed to be cut out. So now I will just carry on finishing this sock and hopefully it won't grow back as quickly as that. I don't know why I'm giggling. It's just sometimes I laugh when I feel nervous or sad. I'm sorry. But the Sea of Stockinette basically helped me there, and so I got my Solasta sweater out because I know I'm going into that phase where I will be knitting a lot of stockinette. And even with the marling painterly effect, that Sea of Stockinette is broken up. So I'm going to carry on knitting these things, finish the socks for the quarantine sorry. And and then everything will be okay. Oh, this bag is was a really generous and lovely present by my friend Angela, who is ideenwilde, and she designed this Yarnchix color work bag especially for me, and I love it. It's now my sock knitting bag and comes out with me, and it holds the pin, which is it's a paper boat pin, but I donate €2 per sale. There are 10 euros in total, and I donate €2 per sale to Sea-Watch crew, who are public lifeboats, not public as in they're independent, they're not state funded, so they're saving lives out in the Mediterranean Sea, where there is a huge crisis of refugees coming over from Libya, and then on these kind of dinghies, and a lot of lives have been lost on this journey, and without the work of different NGOs like the Sea-Watch crew, it would be even worse. So it's this kind of small drop of hope on this hot stone of a crisis in the Med, on the European borders. And I think I've only got 3 of these pins left, so they're almost sold out. Mending. Let's finish on mending, and then you will have the knit reportage and the tarot knit oracle. I have got a dress, another linen dress, which was a hand-me-down from a friend, and with these kind of 3/4 sleeves, and maybe you can see on the sleeve it's all crinkled because it's kind of tight, the sleeve, and I've decided this mend will basically be me removing the sleeves, and then I'll have a sleeveless linen dress, which I've already got one and I wear it so much in summer. It will be great to adapt this dress. It's kind of like a midi dress in this kind of off lavender color, and be really nice without that kind of tight sleeve that makes it uncomfortable, and then potential sweat stains because it is a bit tight and squeezing my arm. So I'm gonna change that, and I'm gonna show that in the next episode as my mama dedicated mend. That's one thing that's in the mending. And I think there is more that I will show again next time, also connected to the Magic 3 Mal. I have the great joy of showing you some unboxing treats. For one, there is an IGTV little treat when I was knitting my Solasta in the garden, and I unboxed this pair of treats. I bought a skein of alpaca silk beachcomber coloured plant dyed Ocean by the Sea yarn from Ocean Rose, I think at the end of April, beginning of May, and she added this really sweet little mini skein. And whilst I unboxed this in a spontaneous live Instagram film, the kind of fox that lives in our garden came out and was strolling about, and it was kind of this weird encounter with wildlife and a fox. And I just it was magic, and it was very suited because there is a fox in Ocean's garden, which is often featured in her Instagram stories, and I just loved it. And I love this. This will basically complete some things that I'm talking in the pattern podcast about this, about toy making. I needed this for a toy making project, and I will make some more with it. Now I'm super excited to dream up things with this yarn treat. So it was kind of like a dedicated but relatively spontaneous Etsy shop update score. I love it. And I'm gonna get the box out from Anja. Anja generously supports the Magic 3 Make-Along with this present, and I think I'm gonna see. I think the toy winner will receive this. I need to get some scissors, hang on. So whenever the Magic 3 make-along starts, some of my lovely maker friends get involved and they say, okay, can I donate a prize? And so I'm very excited. There will probably be more posts coming in, and I might do unboxing regularly. I'm not sure if you're too keen on it. A bit difficult to... A bag! Oh, that's so cute. And it's got a little mushroom print on the inside and this molly print. Ah, okay, and these buttons close like that. So cute, Anja. Someone will win this as part of their Magic 3 category prize win. But there's more treats. Buttons. Oh, very good. And they're vintagey ones with dinosaurs on them. For Christmas, so much stuff. Ooh, a needle case for my DPNs with Bina Maya. Ha! Thank you so much. And something else. A mushroom! Ah, that's so cute. Thank you so much, Anja. I'll leave you guys with a little tarot knit oracle connected to my plant dye pots and a knit reportage, which is plant dye pots using kitchen waste. This time it's avocado stones and onion skins. And the tarot knit oracle was kind of gonna ask some, it's gonna be quite specific to this podcast, but never mind, maybe you'll be intrigued, because I want to ask my tarot cards about plant dyeing stuff without it becoming a business. So how can I use my kind of intriguedness about plant dyeing and my process for some joyous moments? Like, how can I translate that into the podcast potentially? I just wanted to spin ideas, and the tarot knit oracle is gonna spin ideas for me, hopefully, in supporting me and working out a way how to use my plant dye experiments, because I'm definitely not one of those masters that are out there, without it being like a business thing. Like, I don't want to profit off that part of my experiments, but I'm gonna see. So I hope you've enjoyed this podcast and that you might be intrigued to join the Magic 3 make along, or you might be part of linomukakal, or you might join in late. You know, you can always join in. It's a process-based knit along, like linomukakal. If you've got a finished garment, you can wear it. That's your prize. That's your treat. There is definitely not like finished object driven make along, so you can join in at any point, and any post will qualify for me to draw a midway winner, and I'll draw another prize at the very end. So feel free to join in as a little community knit along for Linen Love and Summer Tops. And Magic 3 Mile, well, you know the score. I spoke about that a lot, and I hope you are intrigued. Thank you so much for visiting me and for visiting Myrtil and me. And extra thank you to Anja for sending this prize, and anyone else who's reached out for the sponsorship. That's so generous and so kind of you. And yeah, thank you, Cinthia, for sponsoring the 3 patterns, and congratulations again to Holly, Isabella and Josie. I'm chuffed to bits that I get to pass on the patterns for you and your knitting. Happy making, lots of rest, and whatever your sea of stockinette is that brings you calm and quiet in this phase, I hope you have some of that this weekend. Bye bye, see you soon.